Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio. Welcome back, everyone. We all carry around stuff with us. Things left over from traumas, hurt feelings, disappointments, and it starts to weigh us down after a while. And we carry around this baggage with us from relationship to relationship, job to job, task to task every day. In fact, sometimes our baggage can weigh some of us down so heavily that we start to miss out on our dreams and opportunities in our lives. Our next guest, Donna Tashjian, she is a life mastery coach, and she holds the key to turning that lifelong baggage into a luggage that we can use to leverage to gain our dreams and to find the successes and the opportunities that we want from out of our life. So why don't we welcome Donna to the show, and let's ask her about how we can get those keys to regain our lives. 4, 3, 2. Welcome to the show, Donna. And
thank you.
The question has to be asked. You have this key that help us turn our baggage into luggage. If I got that correct, I didn't reverse it. How did you discover all this?
Well, it is a series of keys, would be a better way to actually describe it, of ways to turn our baggage into luggage. And everyone would love it if I told them I had this magic booth that they just stepped in and everything was all better. But of course, that's not how things work. And learning to be able to shift from baggage thinking is one way I like to put it, into luggage thinking, which is going somewhere good, is the analogy that I like to use. And for myself, it has been a lifelong journey. I had my own trauma and painful childhood and teenage years, and learning how to shift all of those negative emotions into something good that can be useful has been a lifelong journey, and where I have brought myself today to the CEO and founder of Vibrant Living International.
Yeah.
So would you like me to share specific keys? Where would you like to go with this?
Well, I mean, some of our listeners, some of our listeners out there I know have suffered from some pretty serious abuse trauma, and some I would say the maybe mostly everyone has suffered from some sort of disappointment that actually weighed on it. It may not have. It was traumatic to them, but maybe in comparison, maybe it wasn't a huge trauma where they got beat and abused by a family member or a loved one, right? I mean, I guess there's different levels of that. So, how do you work with people on those sort of things? One versus like really abused versus, hey, I just had that disappointment.
Pain is pain. and how we
Hmm.
arrived at a painful moment. I'm not into comparison, and saying what I went through was harder than what you went through. That doesn't help us get anywhere. So I
Okay.
don't make any comparison to what people might have caused as pain, trauma, abuse,
Hmm.
disappointment, loss, grief, all of those kind of things. We can't say one is more painful than the other until you've been through it. And then how you go through it will be differently. So the way that I work with people is individual to what is happening in their life. It's very personalized. But one of the keys to, for me, I became a mother at the age of 15, just to share a little bit, and it wasn't a consensual situation. There was sexual abuse involved. And it was also, it's just, it's not right. We could say all the things. This isn't fair. Somebody should pay, and get angry about all those things. And it doesn't really matter what happened in our life. There's usually some of those emotions. This isn't fair. This isn't right. It's not just. Somebody should pay. There's bitterness, anger,
Hmm.
fear, resentment, anxiety, depression, all of those kind of things. No matter whether it's grief, loss, sexual abuse, whatever, of whatever nature it is, the emotions are similar. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
And learning how to switch it from something negative to something positive that can work for us. And the number one thing I began to learn was how to look for the gift in the adversity. How to look for what could I learn from this? How could I grow? Luggage thinking is, I'm going to use this to grow and become the best me I can be. And it's also future thinking, if you notice. It's forward thinking. When I was in the middle of all of that, I felt like it was the end of my life. My whole life is ruined. Everything's done. It's over. But it wasn't. And so learning to be able to not let those moments in time be, if your life was a book, don't let it be your whole book. Let it be a
Right.
chapter or a verse or a paragraph in your book. And so beginning to look down the road on how can I learn and grow through this? I call these gifts, they're gifts wrapped in sandpaper. They're not pretty gifts. They're not all wrapped up in, beautiful packages. They rub us the wrong way and they're not fun. But when we begin to look for the gift, my perspective changes, what I see changes, how I can grow changes. And that has been the number one key that has helped me, because that wasn't the last thing that caused me pain. It has helped me through adversity after adversity. And when you look at things in that way, things turn out differently.
Yeah. You mentioned the gift wrapped in sandpaper, and I know that nobody wants to rip into sandpaper,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
would you say going through actually ripping that sandpaper open and realizing that the gift that's underneath there it can it gives you that strength and power to push through other things?
It can. I share one story that describes looking for the gift, and it's of course not a true story. But two kids were put in two different rooms, and they were filled with manure.
Hmm.
And one child sat down kind of in the corner and said, "My whole world stinks. My life is full of," you get the picture. And everything is awful. And but in the other room, the child knocks on the door, and they opened it, and he says, "Can I get a shovel?" Like, yes, but why do you want a shovel? Well, with this much manure, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere. And when you think about it, when you begin to look for your pony in the middle of everything, it changes everything.
Wow, um, that's quite the analogy. I like that one. Um, you brought to mind something else. I'm kind of a movie person, and you brought to mind the in a movie there they described it, a mouse that churning to get out of a bucket of milk. He churned himself into butter and climbed out.
Hmm.
Look for the pony.
Yes.
Wow,
Look for the
that's an
pony.
amazing thing to think of. Um, so the child let's can we expand on that story maybe?
Sure. What would you like to do with it?
So the child starts looking for the pony, right? And what do they discover the pony, or do they discover something that they might want more? You know, how does that act? How with your coaching process? How does that actually work out with that child? Do they discover the pony? Do they discover something they want more? What do they actually find in the room? Because I know they're going to find something valuable.
Yeah. Well, I think in my story, you're the child with a shovel,
Hmm.
and you get to decide. You get to decide how your story goes, not the coach. So it isn't the coach that determines whether you find what you find in there, but the possibilities of finding more than the pony is there.
Yeah.
But as you work with people, as I work with people as their coach, is you're the one writing your story. I'm helping you discover it.
Ah, I like that too. That's good. Uh, so you become the guide.
Yes, that's one way of saying it. Yes.
Yeah. Um, how did you? How did you? I shouldn't say. I'm going to rephrase that. Let's try that again. Um, what was your pony? Because you were the child with the shovel, uh, um, and your story didn't just dead end
Right.
with the trauma. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it continued, and you found more than your pony, I would assume.
I think I'm still looking to discover all the good that there is in life
Uh,
and all the things that I can learn in any situation. So yes, but I went from, if you think about the comparison to a very scared little girl with a new baby in the process, because I did raise my daughter, to a woman now who is leading an international ministry, helping people around the world to live vibrantly. So there's a lot of steps in between to get from one place to the other of the different things I've learned,
hmm.
but learning how to forgive, how to release, how to ask for help, how to take care of me, how to empower others, how to become the coach I am today. That's the life mastery coach who's empowering people, how to do all of that, how to become an inspirational speaker. These are all things that I've learned and continue to learn how to grow. And so, because life isn't a one pony show, there is a lot of opportunities to grow and to become. And so, all of those things, how to be confident in my own skin, how to love myself, how to have a marriage that's now over 38 years, how to have
Congratulations on that.
grandchildren's,
Yeah.
all of these things are things that I have learned, which was not the forecast of the words that were spoken over me when this occurred to me, when this incident happened. So all of those things are things that I have learned and grown, and I continue to, because when you look to live life vibrantly, it's constantly exciting and new. It doesn't mean that there's not some pain, because when there's pain, there's usually growth along the way. But when you look at it with a different perspective, it it's full of excitement.
Yeah. Okay. So, I, one, congratulations on 38 years. Two, congratulations on being able to raise your daughter because, well, we grew up in the age when
Yes.
15-year-old, um, the family shame, the
Yep. Yes.
you have to give the child up for adoption and all that sort of stuff. So
Yes.
yeah. Um, how did you find the supports that you needed? Because going back, I don't mean to beat the pony to death with the shovel, but your analogy works on so many different levels because while you're digging around through the manure, there's lots of gifts that are going to be there. Supports from community, um, discoveries of inner strength, and all these other things that you're going to find on these journeys. How did you start to find those gifts that you needed to actually do the things that you have done?
Well, my parents provided, of course, a place to live until I could get out on my own. So that was one area of support in my life. There was very little. There was a little bit of community resources that were available. I finished high school before I was 17, and I was full time employed before I was 18. I had my own apartment by the time I was 18, working full time. And shortly thereafter, I began to go to college, taking one class because that's all I could manage, working full time, plus a daughter, and that is taking one class a semester. All of doing that. And I applied for services that were available, like food stamps would be what we would call them in that state I lived in.
Mm-hmm.
And I made $1 too much to qualify. Now, if I had stayed home, but I didn't make quite enough to make it really easily. So life was a struggle financially for a long time to figure out how to make it all work. But the main source of strength, yes, inner strength was something we are capable of much more than we think. And until we're faced with adversity like that, we don't realize it. But my main source of strength was my faith. God has never failed me, and that was my biggest source of strength.
Mm. A good source of strength.
Yes.
I always encourage people, no matter what, it doesn't matter how you describe God, if you want to say higher power, creator, whatever, just that thought that there's something there to give you hope, right? So you found found the resources, obviously, and you also found further adversity because you said that you were $1 over being able to collect the food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
So, if a lot of people would say, "Oh, I just give up and throw in a towel," but you kept pushing forward.
I did.
Yeah. So.
Yes, I did.
Would you say that all those things that you learned in those very beginning steps that you started taking with you and your daughter that they helped you develop your process that you use now to help others?
To some degree. At that stage, I was definitely learning and growing through it all. But yes, at some degree, but definitely, I mean, getting further education on how to really create programs that help people to move through adversity, pain, trauma, grief, those kind of things is something that I have definitely perfected over the years.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about your process, and how you actually start to help people.
Well, my programs work in 5 major areas and I work in one-on-one and group coaching, and I have multiple programs that I have personally created to help people, and is first of all creating a vision of where they want to go. The reason why that's important is when we're in the middle of adversity, as I mentioned, we're looking, for example, we're looking at our feet, we're looking down and feeling hopeless. And when we begin to create vision of where we might want to go, then if I would, let's use it this way. If you were going to take a road trip and you just go, I'm just going to take a road trip, I don't know where I want to go, then you could leave and any old road could work to leave your house. Yeah. But if you said, I want to go to a specific town, let's say Chicago, then from where you are, you would know, it would help us to know what roads you need to take to get to Chicago. And so many times we just let life happen to us rather than planning where I want to end up. And I help create that vision of where you want to end up, but it's your vision. And then I show you how to get there. We create a plan with stepping stones that are easy and simple to be able to get from point A to point B. And other things that are involved is dealing with mindsets, because we always know what we need to do, but our thoughts get in the way. We talk ourselves out of it. We sabotage ourselves. All those kind of things occur. And so as we highlight and clear those kind of things, and we're able to move forward to take those steps to get to Chicago, in my example here.
Well, we can say we can get to Chicago and beyond, right?
Yes.
Because Chicago could be one step.
That's just an analogy.
No, I'm just saying Chicago could be one step. San Francisco, hey, well, Budapest. Could
wherever it is you want to go.
Wherever you want to go, right?
That was just an example. Yeah.
So you actually help people build it. You're not building the plan. You're helping them build the plan. You're guiding them to what it is they need to build their own plan, right?
Yes. One of the things that is my specialty is someone will say that I think this is my problem that's stopping me from getting to where I want to go. And I have the ability to be able to tell you what the root of the issue is. So we're not just circling it. We're actually dealing with what's causing you not to be where you want to be. And how to turn fear into excitement so that the truth can shine through and you can get to the destination that you wish and live vibrantly. So I love doing that every day.
Yeah. You brought up the word fear, and it's in this particular podcast. It's like that word comes up a lot. Mm-hmm. And you said you turn the fear into excitement.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, is fear one of the major causes to stopping us from achieving what we want?
Well, there's different kinds of fear. And if we really want to analyze fear, there's fear when there's a bear chasing me, and there's real danger. And then, fear is not a negative thing. I need to move or whatever, get out of harm's way. And then there's fear of doing something new. Like I'm sure you felt when you first started this podcast. The do I know what I'm doing, and all of those kind of things that we do when we go to do something new. And beginning to work with a coach is a lot of it. Is this going to work? Do I know what I'm doing? How is this going to work out? But that kind of fear also has a tinge of, well, what if it does work out? What if it does work the way I want? What if what if I do this podcast and I love it, in your example? And learning how to change, focusing on the failure, but the potential changes fear into excitement.
Yeah. think we're over 400 episodes now. So, and that using the podcast as an example, what if you wind up over 400 episodes later on and still have a waiting list of people wanting to get on your show, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, now, is that something that that you help them foresee that what that big picture success could look like?
A lot of times, yes, it's helping people to when we're stuck in survival mode, it's hard to know where I want to go. I'm just trying to get through the day. I'm just trying to get through the hour. And so it is difficult to figure out, well, I don't know where I want to be next week, let alone next year, or 6 months from now. So helping people to create a vision is a specialty that I have to help them really say what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. Vision can be everything, right?
It can. It is definitely a huge part of it.
Yeah. How do we do while working with you? We're going to discover a lot of things, that vision,
Mm-hmm.
goals to reaching that vision, and everything, and um, we have exercises to get us to that point, so we start to develop those vision muscles and see our more successful self.
Yes. A simple answer, but not a long answer. Yes, there are exercises to walk through in our different sessions. There are videos, there are activation work that is done to be able to create a vision of what you want. And I think vision is always developing. It grows as we grow. And so it's okay to use an eraser and choose something different or to up level it. So, yes, the simple answer is yes, I help people in all that way to be able to do that.
Yeah. Now, for myself, I find this, that that need to grow, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, do you have people come back, when they have that need to grow, and it's like, okay, I got to get to the next level. Can you help me?
Yes. I have clients who repeatedly work with me at all different levels because, I mean, I have a coach. So
Hmm.
anyone who has a desire to grow, if you look at the highly successful people in the world, people who speak, people who are in sports, people who sing, people in entertainment, everyone has a coach if they're successful because we need each other and having people that are specialized in helping us grow. So yes, people come stay with me or come back to be able to help them grow. So Michael, what is it something you want to grow in?
Oh, I'd love to grow my network even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to boast for a second. 14,000 downloads a day. It's great, but I can do better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can achieve 140,000 downloads a day
There
if
you go.
but
So what would you need to believe about yourself for that to be true?
one is my voice can be that big, was one. But I think, the more important thing is that, I have the team building and leadership skills to build the team to magnify what it is that I do.
Yes. And so what is one step you could take to build your leadership skills,
Um,
to build the team? They're two different questions, because they're a little bit different. But
well,
what is one step you could take in that direction to build your leadership and to build your skills?
One is discovering the skills that I need that I haven't discovered yet. The old you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I I going back to
So
boasting for a
perhaps,
quick.
so perhaps finding someone else is that has surpassed the level you want and get
Right.
input from them so
One
that
one would
you
be a
can
mentor. Yes.
exactly. So, or a coach of some sort, that
Yes.
kind of thing. So,
Hmm.
this is just an example that I'm using with you to show you. It's like we just ask these questions and we end up going, okay, so Michael, when we get off of here today, your goal is to go find a mentor that's been there or a coach that's been a little further down the road and ask them what you don't know so that you can grow. Leadership is a little different. That's personal growth, not
Hmm.
necessarily promotional growth in that. And so that you're growing as a person on how to deal with more people and how to be a leader in that kind of respect. So this is just an example I'm using with you to show you with a conversation of now you're leaving going, I have some action steps that I can take from this conversation. You like how I turned that around?
I loved it. It was good. It's always fun. It was always fun when the interviewer turns it around on an interviewee. Um, and see the really cool part is we have it recorded, so I can't I have no excuses anymore for not growing. Right?
Yes, I know.
Wow. So, for everybody listening out there, see there's a sign of an amazing coach right there. Um, so and that's just a short example of what your process looks
Yes.
like, right?
Yes, that's a short example.
Yeah. So
There's
if
much more to it.
so if
I I love to go deep to really get to the beliefs and stuff to help people to really grow. So yes.
yeah. So how deep does your process go? Because um, we all have those things. The Let's put it this way: we have the skeletons in the closet, but
Mm-hmm.
there's the skeleton that's in the closet that's underneath the trap door. And then if we go further, we might actually find it. Hey, there's a whole catacomb of stuff. How far does your coaching go, or does it depend on the individual?
Well, Michael, it goes as far as you want to go because you're the one that has to decide, or the client in
Hmm.
that respect has is the one who decides how free they want to be. So it is not up to me because, but it's up to the person what they are looking for to grow, what they are looking to achieve.
Hmm.
And, but we can go however, and deep is hard to measure what that looks like, but
Right.
I like to think about it we're going to go as for as much vibrant living, as much freedom, as much influence as whatever it is you're looking for. I can help you achieve it. It's just working, is figuring out what you want.
Cool.
Make sense?
Yes, does make exact sense, and it did that because there are people out there who they're listening that are saying, "Oh well, she can't get me to open up that trap door. She can't get me to open up that door into that tunnel." But it's up to them, right?
Yes.
You can find it, but if they don't allow you to open it.
What I do is create a safe space
Hmm.
for us to be really honest with where we are and where we want to go.
Yeah.
And so that comes with creating a safe space for that. But there is no forcing in anything.
No. Very cool. How far have you to date without telling any names, what is one of the coolest things that you helped someone discover and achieve?
Well, there is a lot of confidentiality in the work that I do. But when people become confident instead of fearful, when people begin to do what they've always dreamed instead of, that's not for me, that can't happen, those kind of things are amazing. When people have had serious abuse in their life, I remember one of my clients recently was moving along through the Turn Your Baggage into Luggage program, and she came to office hours and she said, Donna, I did everything you told me to do, and for the first time in my life, I'm free. And it was some serious childhood abuse. We'll just leave it at that. We're talking about it could be a legal kind of thing. I mean, it was awful. And she said, I'm free. I'm actually standing in front of people talking. I'm saying how I feel and being more confident instead of hiding and instead of being a martyr. I am laughing and enjoying life. I've just kind of been faking it. And so it's hard to, when somebody's a business coach or even coaching you on podcasting, if you've increased by a certain amount of, downloads and all that, that's measurable.
Right.
But it's hard to measure. I'm free. I'm confident. Those kind of things are a little bit harder to, but it is amazing to watch the transformation in people's faces as they become free and being able to live and love life, not just exist.
Yeah. Do you get to witness the bright light come on?
Absolutely.
Wow. That's got to be like for you as a person. That has got to be one of the most satisfying.
My
things.
Favorite things. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the call on my life.
Tell us more about that call.
Okay, ask the question in a different way so I know what you mean.
What is it about Vibrant Life that makes you get up? What is it that you love to see in when you're working with a client, when you see this thing happen to them when they transform?
I think the answers in the question is watching them transform. It's why I do what I do. It's why I get up in the day when when there was periods in my coaching practice where I'm thinking, does anybody know I'm here? Do you remember that when I started my podcast, probably when you did? It's like, does anybody even know that we're here? And then as we grow, it's like, but there was something that was a fire in your belly, is the way I describe it, that says, I need to do this. I need to do this. And so it's that that calling to me is that tenacity that pushes us through when it looks like it's not working, when it looks like it's not going to work. And then it keeps us going when we see the rewards for the effort that we put in and we see people's lives change. That's for me anyway.
Yeah, that would be it.
Yep.
You mentioned the whole podcast thing, and I still love telling the story, even though it happened like a couple years ago. I take transit a lot of times, and I'm listening to, because not in a creepy way. I listen to people talk or whatever, what their conversation is with their friends and everything, because a lot of times I'm just by myself, and and you see things and you hear things. I heard a quotation from my own show while traveling on the bus. I was like, oh my God, somebody really is actually downloading and listening to me. It's like, so
yes.
that became a driver for, and you can hear that it still is a driver for me. That
Yes.
there is somebody out there really actually listening, and that was beyond the numbers I could see on the screen. The numbers on the screen was one thing, but what made it tangible for you?
Oh, all of those kind of things as well. I mean, one of my first memories is I had created a blog and I'd started the podcast, and we're sitting here in front of our microphone. And in the beginning, I wasn't doing video, so it was just audio, sitting in front of my microphone, talking to myself. It's just and promoting it and promoting things and writing my blog, and I've just continued to do it and being faithful, doing it on a regular basis. And I went to an in-person networking event, and I saw somebody that I didn't know. I walked over to introduce myself, and her response was, "I know who you are. You're Donna at Vibrant Living. I've been watching you and listening to you on social media." And I'm like thinking, is anybody out there kind of feeling? So when we begin to see the rewards that people's lives are being touched, to me, it's not the numbers, it's the lives that are being touched that that I'm looking and just doing what I'm called to do. And each of us, this whole thing is what I want people to take away. It's not necessarily about me or you. I want them to think about them, and that what is it they would love to do, and what would make them smile, what would light them up. That's what I love to help people do.
Now, see, you just answered one of my more favorite questions about what is it that you want people to get from Donna, and there it was is and this, of course, it is basically radio anyway, so people can't see how your face lit up. And for those of you who actually happen to stumble upon us on our new Rumble page, will maybe get to see when she answered that question, her face lit up. And I love seeing that, especially when I'm interviewing people, because sometimes you just get to dig in and you help people make discoveries too, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what was your favorite discovery about who you are?
I think one of the things that happened to me is prior to, I have been speaking in public for, I don't know, I was in my 20s, so it's been a while. I wouldn't say I did it very well, but I was doing it. And I remember about, I don't know how many years, quite a few years back at this point. And I remember I was doing a live event, and and I'm standing there kind of watching myself do this. And I was having so much fun. And I'm like, when did speaking in public, when did this become fun? When did you quit being nervous? When did you quit worrying about what other people thought? When did that occur? And watching how much fun I had. And I'm like, I was born to do this, but was so afraid. And afraid of what people think. And I think that kind of thing holds us back from what we would really love to do. What is somebody going to think? What if everybody's critical? What if nobody does? And all of those things hold us back from living vibrantly, from discovering what our gifts really are. Because one of the things that I say I love to stop is identity theft. And I am not talking about your credit card. I am talking about who you are, right, and what your gifts are. And when we can stop allowing labels that have been placed on us, words that have been spoken over us, circumstances that we've lived through, The financial area or, communities that we live in, all of those kind of things are labels that can stop us from the identity of who we truly are, who God created us to be. So that is one of my passions. Let's stop identity theft. Let's just be authentically us and shine. And there's room for all of us to do that.
Yeah. I'm sure you are the bright light in the dark box.
I'm not in a box. I'm a bright light, but I'm in no box.
There you go. All right. You caught that one. Yay. Donna, it's been like a real pleasure to talk with you. Unfortunately, we're starting to run out of time, and I think that's a good sign of a wonderful interview. That I just look at my timekeeper over here, and it's like, oh my God, I gotta wrap it up. Best ways to get a hold of you and work with you?
The best way is my website. I am on all social media platforms, but that's where you can find a lot of free resources and etc. And it is the letter I, vibrantliving.com.
The letter I, vibrantliving.com.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So go check out Donna there and learn to live vibrantly. And she'll help you find the keys that you need to turn that baggage into luggage so that you live the life of your dreams. I want to thank everybody at this time for listening, and please do click that subscribe button wherever you may see it. And if you're watching us watching this on Rumble, thank you again, and please do keep getting updates from us. Donna, thank you again. It's been wonderful.
My pleasure, Michael.
Yeah. This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.